Good morning, everybody, and welcome to Shift 2013. I'm Rufus Olins, the Chief Executive of Newsworks.
It is my opinion that the British press is the finest in the world, that we should do everything we can to cherish, support and believe in it, because the world would be unthinkable without you guys.
The British press is the very best in the world. It's professional, it's lively, it's provocative, it's passionate.
We're an industry which is about three things. We're about content, which is the most important, and we're about brands, and we're about audience, and our audience is growing.
For as long as we as an industry produce well-written, distinctive, engaging journalism and publish it across whatever media best suits our readers, then we will continue to operate strong businesses.
There's a shift that many of us in this room need to make. A shift in perspective, a shift in the way we think about media.
Innovation is a condition for our survival, and the survival of newspapers is completely dependent on our ability to evolve.
The explosion of tablets and smartphones is not just changing the way we consume media, but it's also changing our role in the production of it.
I've never seen a newspaper proprietor talk like that about the commercial dimensions, which are now the reality of news brand publishing.
Each news brand is distinctly different, and therefore each of us needs to shape the future that best suits our own individual readers and advertisers.
I think working with media owners who understand the cultural role that we as a brand are wanting to play and understanding the culture that their brand is wanting to create, I think is still an opportunity.
News brands are really emerging as the dominant source of these cultural texts. So the academics tell us that not just newspapers, but news brands are becoming a much more dominant source of cultural storytelling.
The challenge for us is not how we match consumers to news brands, it's how we access them in terms of the impact we can generate through our advertising.
In summary, the 21st century editor values multimedia as much as he does words.
I thought it was really interesting listening to Tony Gallagher of The Telegraph as well. It reminded me of just how 24/7, 365, fully digital newsrooms have become and must be.
We should in due course be able to serve them dedicated adverts relating to their interests.
The challenge is obvious, and that's how to monetize the new world.
It's not the strongest that will survive, nor necessarily the most intelligent, but the ones who are most responsive to change.
We've had so much evidence of engaged content on different platforms, and everyone instinctively knows that the context of news brands will have greater engaged audiences.
Twitter's a chat room, so these 400 million tweets every day, a vast volume of conversation on things, and hashtags are the channels. So hashtags are the things that just hold a conversation together. Twitter can capture conversation, Twitter can capture the moment, it can spectate on things, but what it can't do is it can't do the analyses that classic journalism does.
There was one fact that absolutely knocked me flat.
The Times Fashion Twitter account has 1.1 million followers. It's probably one of the biggest distribution points for fashion news in the UK.
The big question about audience, I think, is the key one, and for that, you know, the big question of this particular forum is print or screen? Who cares? Does anyone actually care? Well, hopefully we'll get to the bottom of that.
The chap here from Dare mentioned Blipper and kind of making editorial leap off the page and integrating print editorial with mobile or digital platforms.
I think what we see at the moment is a change on the agency side of the fence, where from a trading point of view, they're becoming a lot more integrated.
The audience isn't where the audience used to be. They used to be nicely contained, didn't they, to those bits of paper. So the big changes is they're all over the place.
I think we have to demonstrate our commitment to it by investing a bit more in audience research and giving the clients a bit more of what they want.
If your brand is strong enough, customers will actually
manage your brand in the online space for you in many instances.
As marketeers, we are required to be involved across the organisation in a way that maybe 10 years ago we weren't. I mean, as for us, can you imagine the idea that somebody could be browsing on a tablet and actually click right through and complete the purchase there and then is completely magical from our point of view.
I thought the level of people on the panel was terrific, and I'm really pleased they all gave up their time.
I think for me it's about mapping out the whole journey. It's not about print on one hand, digital on the other with a bit of TV on top. It's about understanding what the end objective to that audience is and then using the right channels just to influence them in the right way.
But I think what the clients on the panel were really saying was that there's a big space up for grabs. They trust our brands, they like working with our brands, they'd like to work more with our brands. So across that brand and audience and content triangle, I think there's more we can do. There's lots to be optimistic about.
Well, I think the biggest financial effect on the newspaper industry has been the migration of classified advertising out of most of the newspapers into the internet. So that's had very significant financial repercussions.
What is the thing that you worry about the most?
Guys, it is expenses.
I feel a doubling of my expenses coming on. Let's see if that can keep him awake all night instead of just a little bit at night.
The audience here today and the quality of the speakers was tremendous and yeah, really worthwhile event.
What I've heard today is that through Newsworks and Rufus and the team, they are committed to actually moving towards clients in a kind of a completely open-minded way, which I haven't really seen from them in recent past.
All of the innovations, the digital kind of leading edge stuff that they're doing, I thought was marvellous. So all in all, it's been a great morning.
I think it's really encouraging that we've got a whole host of the news brands, sponsors or contributors that are actually fighting the global fight and winning.